A week ago, it was snow. Now, it's 60 degrees, and we can finally get our lawn to the spring. Time to take off a little bit of a layer, get it opened up, get it ready for that growing season. So it's spring. So now what do we do in order to wake our yards up and get it ready for the growing season? In this video, I'm going to show you my pretty quick steps that I use in order to wake up my yard and get it ready and thriving for the season. First, we're going to just do a pretty simple mow, get off anything that was inconsistent, try to get an even height, and then we'll come in and hit it with the Sunjo, using the dethatched tines as more of a power rake. We'll probably use it on like the highest setting to where it's barely even hitting the soil surface, just to try to get any of the grass that was matted down by the little bit of snow that we had, and just laying flat, try to get that to stick up the best that we can, and also try to rake out some of the dead material that's down in there that didn't make it from the wintertime. For where I'm at right now, our grass is kind of probably just starting to turn and start thinking about putting on growth. We've had a few days of high 50s and 60 degrees. The sun's out today, so growth is gonna start here pretty quickly. So I'm gonna use that power rake to get all the debris and stuff out of there. I used to use just a regular hand rake for like leaves, but since I have the power version of a rake slash dethatcher, I'm gonna use that because I have it. So why not? If you don't have one of those, you can just use a regular rake to try to get that material out. And then right after I use the rake, get that material out, is going to be a great time for me to get my pre-emergent down. I don't want to do it right now without doing a little bit of prep first, because I could just be putting that pre-emergent down, and then when it rains and gets watered in, it kind of just sits on top of that matted layer. We want that to get all the way down to the soil surface. So that's the main reason of why I'm going to use that power rake, or even just a regular rake, in order to open up those areas so that my pre-emergent can be a lot more effective. And then also when I get around to putting on my fertilizer here the next week or two, again, gets down to the soil a little bit easier and can, in theory, be more effective. So let's get out in the yard and let's finally do some lawn stuff. I've only been waiting about 5 months to be able to do this. So all right, let's get out there. But first, I got to take care of all the rock that the snowplow, even though it only mowed went a couple times on the road, it still managed to put some good rock chunks in the yard. So we'll clear those out so they don't go through someone's windshield when I use the Sunjo, or they don't go through my lawnmower. That wouldn't be good. So unfortunately, I just have to use the good old-fashioned rake for this. Pain in my stomach. All right, we got the mower out. Now that we cleaned up a little bit of the rock in the ditch line over there, now we're going to put this grass to one even height, or at least the best that we can. Obviously the stuff that's lower is not going to be even, but I got a couple good patches. Let me show you right here. You can see that little guy right there, and you got a couple other patches through there with my Mod Podge that I got going on. They're a little bit uneven, but as you can see, it's still pretty green from the fall. Got a couple spots here that need a little bit of attention, but yet again, that also could just be the grass type that it is and my Mod Podge that I have going on. So let's get this cut, and then we'll move on through the step 2 of the process. First pole. Been sitting in storage all winter long. First pole. Pain in my stomach. Now there's a couple of, you can see like there's one, there's another one. Got a couple other pieces of matted down stuff. This is all a grass type that some perennial rye that just still a little dormant, but and then we got a little spot here we need to seed in. Big old matted down piece there, and even through here there's some matted down. It's not dead, still a little dormant, just a little matted, but that's what we'll use the Sunjo for in just a minute, and really rake whatever is dead out of there, and we'll have some patches I'm sure that we will have to fill in. So let's go grab the Sunjo and let's start hitting on that. You big dark cloud, you stay out of here. I got things I want to do in my yard today. So go that way, don't come this way, go that way. So got the Sunjo out. We got the dethatching tines on there. So what I'm going to do with this is there's an adjustment on these, and I don't want to dig down into the soil at all. I just want to barely scratch the surface. Actually, I don't even really want to scratch. I just kind of want to pull up the grass that might be laying just barely on the surface. So we're gonna go to one of the highest settings. We'll look at it, see where it's hitting in my grass layer, and we'll get after it, and we'll pull up probably quite a bit of dead material, but you guys will see in just a second. Now, before some of you guys come at me for this maybe being too early in the season to put this stress on the yard, in my opinion, and what has worked for me is this process has worked for me. Like I said earlier, prior to having this machine, I would do this with just a regular rake. And honestly, a regular rake, I was probably getting in there a lot deeper and everything than I am with this machine right now. It's just I'm using a machine rather than having to do this whole thing by hand. So I'm hardly even digging into the soil. Like, I mean, there's still areas, like I could probably go a little bit lower, but I think if I went a little bit lower, then yeah, I'd probably be too low and be really putting more stress on the yard than needs to. I'm just doing this to just get the airflow in there, get that matted out. And obviously there's some dead material that's still in there, which you're going to probably have almost every time you do this kind of activity or do a dethatch. So we're just getting this opened up so that the air can flow through there, and we can let that pre-emergent that I'll be doing here pretty soon, probably later this afternoon, get down to the soil a lot better instead of sitting on a mat layer. So again, my rake that I'd use would probably be doing more invasive than what I'm doing right now. So if I'm wrong, you're going to tell me and let me know in the comments if you'd ever do this kind of thing, or if you even do this step. Do you just mow and just let things do it come up naturally, or do you like to rake to either get the stuff out or to get stuff to stand up? So let me know in the comments. All right, now I don't think you guys need to watch the rest of this, so we'll do this the fast way that you've probably seen online before. But let's see if we can get this to work, huh? By golly, it worked. Just a little light rake. Get not all of it, get some of that just dead material that didn't make it through the winter. And I'll get a video here in just a sec of what it looks like after we clean it up, just so you can see where some of those spots throughout, particularly in this area, actually not stood up, but we got all that crap out of there. And yeah, I just feel like once we clean this up, we'll be able to let the grass breathe a lot better. It just seems like it's good for overall health. So I probably could have opened it up a little bit more by going down another notch, but since it's still very early in the season, I'm going to probably do a real dethatch probably within the next month or so. Let it really kind of come out of dormancy, and we'll see what's truly thatch and what's still a little bit dormant. This just opens it up a little bit, like I said, and then now I can get a round of fertilizer down, then also get my pre-emergent down. So now it's on to do the backyard with the same process we just did, so that we're setting ourselves up for success for this season. Remember, shifting a little bit more into that offensive mode with laying down our pre-emergent and making sure that we're on top of that this year. I don't look like I have a whole lot of clover or weeds left over from last year, which is good, but I was along the sidewalk in the driveway, I was fighting some crabgrass towards the end of the season last year. So hopefully this pre-emergent will help alleviate quite a bit of that. So before we move to the backyard, I got a question for you. Who here has pieces of grass that are just dumb? This right here is dumb, but I have to have it green per city ordinance. But my truck and my car, we drive over the corner of it all the time. It's just super compacted, but yeah, I gotta have it green. So that's just an annoying patch of mainly POA that's right there. So that'll have to get dealt with because I don't want that spreading. But yeah, do you have an annoying piece of grass that you have to keep by either HOA or city ordinance? Let me know in the comments. Pain in my story. Now this back here is kind of my problem child, mainly because I've got really bad drainage through the middle right there. It's significantly lower because over here right now isn't really squishy at all. But then as soon as I walk pretty much right about here, it's squishy. So we're a lot lower than particularly right over here. But I've got all the grasses back here, all the grass types. So it's really kind of hard to keep on top of like your watering, because some are more sensitive to others to more or less water, fertilizing. I mean, grass is kind of grass or whatever, but different species of grass have, different requirements. So it might be over fertilizing some and under fertilizing, but at the end of the day, during the summertime, it's pretty freaking green. So that's kind of more what I'm shooting for. But yeah, we're going to do a lighter rake back here since it is still a little bit wet, but I've got a lot of problem areas. I got that part right over there that is not sure what that's all about. I'm assuming that's just because the dog barely went off the patio all winter long to use the bathroom. Um, and this whole area right here is planned to be rock this spring, so that's why it kind of looks like the way that it does. And my last sprinkler is right here, so it only goes so far. So that's why there's really no grass growing here, because for the last 2 years I really haven't cared. So, all right, let's get the Sunjoe working again, and we'll pull up a little bit more of a the stuff that's been laid down by the dog and the little bit of snow that we had this year. So let's get after it. And it worked in the front, so we're gonna see if it'll work again back here. But feeling pretty lucky with the magic fingers. So let's try it. Man, I think I'll have to go buy a lottery ticket because I'm 2 for 2 on the magic fingers working. So maybe I'll just go to the gas station after this and buy a lottery ticket and snap them fingers and get that magic happening. But got the backyard raked, and now it is time to obviously clean all that up. But there's quite a bit of stuff from even just doing a power rake on a pretty low or high setting. So a lot of stuff comes up, and to think that if I didn't do this, then any fertilizer or pre-emergent or anything that I put down would just be laying on top of that. So this really will expose some soil, get some air going through there, help dry stuff out and get stuff growing a lot faster. So let's get this cleaned up. And just like that, in the words of my 4-year-old, Dad, it's like we're giving the lawn a haircut. That's exactly what we did. And by doing the power rake, what I would envision is just like a good comb after a couple days. For those of you that have long hair out there, I mean, how does it feel for you to brush your hair? You know, could you imagine not brushing your hair for 4 or 5 months and have been wearing a beanie and a hat and just letting it do its thing? And then what you would feel like? Because that's what I feel like after doing this process. But there you have it. There's my first mow of the year, and what I do to kind of jumpstart the mowing season is just give it a fresh mow, come in with a rake. I use my Sunjoe on the not the highest, but one notch down from the highest setting, just to get that stuff that's been laid over or dead, get it out of the grass. And then we just mow it again to pick it all up. But yeah, now we got more soil exposed, so better airflow, better when I get any fertilizer down or even water. Not that we really need the water right now because it's spring. Water is not exactly a limiting resource right at the moment, but more so the pre-emergent when we get that down, and then also those fertilizers to do a better job of getting down to the soil rather than just getting stuck at that matted down layer. But like I said in the front, I'll come back probably within the next month when we're really cranking and do a true dethatch / scarify. Stay tuned for that. And if you found any of this information useful, then give me a thumbs up, hit that follow button, and we can keep doing the lawn care thing together. I appreciate you for clicking on this video and hanging out with me. And I think now the only thing I have left to do is go to the gas station, get a lottery ticket, and put these magic fingers to work. So Weekend Yard Guy out.